In March 2015, I went to Scrapbook Expo in Anaheim, California. This is 12 years after I went to my very first Scrapbook Expo, which was in Riverside, California, and then I went to another one in Costa Mesa. So this show looked very, very different from shows in years past. And a lot of people are wondering, is scrapbooking dead in the craft industry? So I took these pictures because I wanted to share with you the trends that I saw at Scrapbook Expo and where I think scrapbooking is. You'll notice that these first pictures I'm showing are all of booths that have discount products. So there's lots of things for $1, $1.50, fill a bag, just lots of totally discounted stuff. And a lot of it is old product. So this isn't something that I would spend money on myself, but it shows that people are willing to spend money, but only if the deal is super amazing. The other thing that I noticed is scrapbook page kits. So page kits are still really hot, and companies that are selling kits, especially ones where everything's cut out and you just put it together, those were doing pretty well. So one of the examples is Down to Details. They've been at Scrapbook Expo for years and years and years. I think even back when I started, they were doing it even before I went to Expo. And Ginger, who runs that, is super experienced, but those kits are doing super well. That booth seemed really busy when I walked by, and so were the other booths that were selling kits. The other trend I saw was lots of card making. So even though it's a Scrapbook Expo, there were lots of booths with ornate die cuts and stamps and coloring, like where you'd color in images of people on stamps. And the focus was absolutely on card making. I would say at least half the booths there had a focus on card making. Now, you might think that, okay, this means scrapbooking is dead, right? The scrapbooking section of it is simple kits or things that are put together where you don't have to be super creative, and it's stuff that costs $1. Well, the crop room was actually the biggest ever, and I found out from one of the croppers that the crop room had 500 scrapbookers in it for the Saturday crop. It was, I think, 10 a.m. to midnight. I might have the times wrong, but it was pretty affordable to attend, and I saw lots of people that I knew there. So I walked around the room, and I just talked to some people, people I knew and people that I didn't know, to see what they were doing. And a lot of people were working with their stash. So they'd come to Scrapbook Expo to maybe get a special item, like a new product, like Marion Smith had some of her new products out there, or they came to stock up on adhesive. But their main reason for going to Scrapbook Expo was to scrapbook with their friends in the scrapbook area, or in the crop area. So they brought their own kits, they brought their old stuff, they worked with that. And so I thought that that was really interesting because it showed that people haven't stopped scrapbooking, they've just stopped buying stuff. And I really think the reason for that is because people have amassed so much stuff. If you've been on my blog lately, I've been sharing about this journey that I'm on, where I went from being like the ultimate craft hoarder, where I had tons of things and lots of different products and all the name brand stuff, to where now I'm trying to use my stash and I'm going more minimal with it. I mean, if you look at the tour of my craft room that I just shared here on my YouTube channel, and I'll link that here, I still have a lot of stuff, but given that I work in the craft industry and I actually get boxes delivered to my house nearly every day, I think I'm managing it pretty well because it's a lot of product. But I think, you know, outside of myself, when I talk to other crafters, they say, I have a stash. I have lots of things. The latest and greatest thing doesn't matter to me. If there's something spectacular that they're like, wow, I really am into that, they'll buy it. But they're not going and stocking up on paper and ribbon and brads and all those things that we used to stock up on, because there was this level of scarcity. There was a culture of scarcity where you felt like, if I didn't buy this now, then I won't be able to get it ever again. And some of that was perpetuated by the manufacturers. They would come out with limited edition stuff, or they do just one run of the product and then not restock it. So then the first time the store ordered, that would be the only time the store would be able to get it in. And then it also was down on the retailer level. So the stores were like, oh, you better get it now. You don't know how long it'll be in the store. So you felt this push that you had to buy that item now. And then also, you know, back when scrapbooking first started, I mean, scrapbooking's been around for a long time, but back before the industry really started growing, like in the 90s, the scrapbooking products that were available to us were super basic and boring. So when we saw a cute brad or a cute ribbon or something, we were like, we better buy that now because we don't know if we're going to be able to get it again later. So it was on all sides, this idea of that I have to buy this stuff right now, or I'm not going to have it later. And so we'd buy way more than we had ideas for, way more than we had projects to create, way more than we had time to even use. And now we've amassed these huge stashes. And I mean, I know people that have gotten rid of stuff. They've had yard sales. They've done all these different things. People that don't work in the industry. They don't have a business. They don't have anything like that. They're just scrapping for themselves. And it's like they can do so many card swaps and give product to their church and their kids' school, and they still have a ton. There's no need for them to buy. So I feel like this experience that I had at Scrapbook Expo really showed that scrapbooking isn't dead. It's changing. I feel like it's like a pendulum that swings. So back in the 2007, the pendulum was way at the far end where we had lots of products to choose from, lots of companies, lots of stores, and people were buying. Well, now it's swinging back the other direction. So we're having fewer stores, fewer manufacturers, fewer people buying. But that's on the buying side of it. We still have people who are scrapbooking. And the other part, some people will say, oh, well, because of digital scrapbooking. I'm like, I don't really know that many digital scrapbookers. But some of scrapbooking has changed. Like I do know quite a few people that have changed from doing traditional 12 by 12 pages to doing Project Life. Or people that used to make lots of mini books to now they're just making regular scrapbooks with fewer embellishments, so they're less bulky. So scrapbooking has changed, and I don't think we've finished seeing the shrinkage as far as the retailers and the manufacturers that are available. I think we're going to see some more manufacturers close or merge together, and I think we're also going to see more stores close, and we're also going to see stores shrink their scrapbooking section. So here are some pictures I took in Target just the other day. They took out the majority of the scrapbooking section and put in this whole line of like wood products and things that you can alter and stuff that's like very, hipster DIY. Some people say that it's maker. I don't really call it maker. I think it's more just of a more hipster type of thing where you could buy, this wood letter off the shelf and then buy some of this cute yarn and glitter and make a cute monogram for your wall. Very simple, not really involved. You don't need a lot of heavy tools. And within about an hour, you could have a project done. So when a big store like Target that had a large scrapbooking section for quite some time, at least they had a full aisle dedicated to scrapbooking for many years, when they make a change like that, to me it says that that is not making them money anymore. So again, the pendulum is still swinging down, but it doesn't mean that people stop scrapbooking. And I think the other thing that is good that came out of scrapbooking is that it got people into making creative things and into creating things that maybe wouldn't have done it before. Because I can't tell you how many times I've taught a scrapbook class and people have been like, oh, I'm not creative. But then they start learning and doing. And so I think scrapbooking was like an entryway into the craft world. So now those people that scrapbooked, they could easily go down that same aisle in Target, grab one of those kits and make, all these crepe paper flowers that they have in one of the kits. Or they could make, use the handmade flowers that are in one of the kits to decorate a tote bag. That's a very easy transition for a scrapbooker to make to regular crafting. So I think it's a good thing. It's cruddy as far as scrapbooking companies go, but the companies that I think are going to stay around are the ones that are doing new and different things to stay relevant. So like Heidi Swap, she came out with the chipboard marquee letters where you can then decorate them to be a marquee light so that it's not just scrapbooking. You still have paper in there, but it's like beyond scrapbooking. It's DIY, you could use it for a party, etc. Or companies like Adorn It by Carolise. They have clothing, they have fabric, they have a whole bunch of other things. It's not just, oh, here's our paper line and our sticker line. So I think that the companies that have evolved are the ones that are going to stick around. And for scrapbookers, it's going to take those of us that have been scrapbooking for the last 5 to 10 years, it's going to take us a long time to get through this product. Many of us can go years, maybe I could probably go the rest of my life and not buy any paper. It doesn't mean that we're not scrapbooking. Like that's the thing that I really got out of this Scrapbook Expo is that people are still scrapbooking. If they are going to buy stuff, they want a bargain, and at least for scrapbooking stuff. And I think the companies that are going to stay around are the ones that are doing new, exciting things, not just focused on paper crafts. And I also think like the ornate card making is a big part of what paper crafting is going to be now, the hands-on part. But again, it's going to change. Like stamping was huge in the 80s, and then it faded away. And then we had scrapbooking, and now we're doing these ornate card things. Like, and it's not for everybody, right? Just because I paper craft, I'm not going to sit there and spend 2 hours coloring a card. Like, that is not something that I find fun at all. But it doesn't mean that it's bad that people are doing that. It's just not for me. But I saw definitely a lot of that at the Scrapbook Expo, which was funny because I'm like, okay, it's Scrapbook Expo, and then there's all these card makers. So I hope that you enjoyed my take on Scrapbook Expo and what I thought about it and what I got out of it. Keep on scrapbooking, use up that stash, and take that scrapbooking bug and go explore some new crafts. Hit that subscribe button here at the end of the video. Please leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think about Scrapbook Expo, the scrapbook industry, where crafts is going, or anything on that subject. Hit that thumbs up button to give us a like, and I will see you over on my blog at Hydrangea Hippo.